Hello everybody and welcome once again to another edition of Inside the Headset. Here we are, week 10, game 10. I'm with the head coach of the Oakland Patriots, Thomas McDaniel. Coach, it's been 11 days since your last game, 14 since we last talked. You played Smyrna 11 days ago, got the W. Talk a little bit about that and what the Oakland Patriots been doing.
Well, you know, Smyrna's a young football team. Obviously, you know, they've had some struggles this year, but I knew going into the game, like I told you, that they were going to come, you know, ready to play, and I knew they'd be physical and fight hard and all those things, and they did. You know, I was proud of the fact that we established the line of scrimmage. I thought our offensive line really started to gel at the right time, and I thought probably that was the best that we've looked on the offensive line thus far this year. You know, we had a game plan going in that we were going to line up and not do many things and just try to be physical and establish the running game. We did that, and you know, other than a few minor, you know, mistakes on defense, I thought we played pretty well. We had some good plays in the kicking game. We had a couple big kickoff returns. You know, we had one turnover, but it really wasn't the quarterback's fault. I told him to throw it up near the goal line, and you know, ended up being like a punt basically. So
right.
But it was a good game. You know, the field was kind of sloppy, and I knew with the weather, we had that rain the night before, the field was pretty saturated, so I knew throwing the football was going to be kind of a risk, and I wanted to see, honestly, if we could line up, just run it, and we were able to do that, and like I said, we're very physical at the point of attack offensively, which we're going to need to be this week, so took a big step, played a little cleaner than what we had, and but obviously, you know, moving forward, no disrespect to Smyrna, but Riverdale's not Smyrna, so right. I felt pretty pleased about that. And then last week, you know, obviously it was our bye week, week 9, and we gave them off Monday and Friday. We went Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. For this time of the year, we've been a lot lighter on them than I typically would be. I'm not of the mindset of giving them a lot of easy reps, I guess. But
we're not running Oklahoma drill.
No, but normally we would. I mean, to be honest with you, in the years past, it was probably one of our more physical weeks. But I just felt like with this team right now, we needed to be more mental and let them heal up and rest and kind of just get refreshed. And so we took a different approach this past week. Obviously, we started working on Riverdale some, but you know, that brought us into this week. And now I think our kids were fresh and ready to go on Monday. We've had, you know, 2 good days of practice. Now it's Wednesday, and hopefully we can somewhat put it all together today and finish this week on a good note.
He picked up a win against Cookville, the Cavaliers, and what's it going to take to beat Coach A-Lot in the Warriors?
Well, a lot. You know, I think first and foremost, I think obviously the records and injuries, inexperience on both sides, whatever, you can throw that stuff out the window. It's Riverdale, Oakland, and
Battle of the Boroughs.
It is, and you know, I told our kids, and you know, you can not talk about it, or you can just be blunt about it. I tend to be more on the blunt side. Look,
I think kids appreciate that.
The kids need to understand it's a huge rivalry. There's no love lost between the two schools. I think, you know, sometimes I built it up to be more than what it needs to be. For me to say it's not personal would be lying to you, because it is personal to me. I came here initially. I took the job at Oakland so that we could, you know, get to where Riverdale was.
Sure.
I wanted to be where Riverdale was. Now, obviously, there's a lot more parity in this league than there used to be. But I still think most people see Riverdale as the king, and you know, some of that is rightly deserved. I think every year they're a strong program.
In all sports, they compete in every sport.
They're good in every sport, and as far as football goes, I think there is some, I don't know, there's some
mystique.
There is a lot of mystique to them. You know,
okay.
The kids are very much. I don't want to say intimidated, but I think a lot of kids get caught up in the spear on the helmet, yeah, seeing the smoke and the TP and all that stuff. And I mean, Mr. Nolan at Riverdale does a great job of building all that stuff up, but it's all a facade. I mean, they're still just a normal football team.
Take away the mascots, take away the colors. They're juniors, seniors, and sophomores, yeah, dressed in pads.
But that being said, there's a lot of history with Riverdale, and they're just a powerful program, you know. And Coach A-Lot's done such a good job. I think I'll be the first to say I know that he's probably like me. He doesn't care about people's opinions most of the time, but he's done such a fantastic job since he's been there. They are so good offensively at what they do. he's taking criticism about running his offense in our league. And to be honest with you, I hate preparing for it. I mean, it's tough.
It's assignment.
It's tough to get ready for. And he's always had the right guy pulling the trigger on offense. Obviously, Dillon is no different than what he's had every other year he's been there. He's always had a good quarterback, and you know, they're hard to defend. And then defensively, they're big up front. They've been that way the last several years. They're aggressive, and they're going to try to take away what we want to do, which is running the ball off tackle and establishing the line of scrimmage. So we've had some, in the 4 or 5 years I've been at Oakland, we've had some knockdowns with them. I think a couple double or triple overtime games. One game in the playoffs that went down to basically the last play of the game. You know, last year it was 35-7, a little bit deceiving. First of all, they're a lot better football team than we were. I'm not taking anything away from them on that, but it was 14-7 late in the second quarter, and they broke 2 plays and scored right before half to make it 21-7. Now, my point in all that is, again, throw the records and all that stuff out the door when you play Oakland and Riverdale, because I guess it was 2010. We went over there and jumped up on them quick, and I really thought the game was going to get out of hand, and he got his kids to fight back, and we ended up going into, I think, double or triple overtime. And at that time, I thought he would have told you the same thing. I thought we were a much better team than they were, and they outplayed us that night. We found a way to win, but they outplayed us. So you never know what can happen in this game. That makes it fun, but at the same time, you know, it's frustrating because it makes for a long week, and for me, it's made for 2 long weeks. You know, so the 2-week thing, the 2-week period of us being down can be a negative, and so.
It can be a positive, according to how you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, there are positives to it from the standpoint that we're able to prepare more for Riverdale, but sometimes you overanalyze. Sometimes it can get stale, you know. But for me personally, it's 2 weeks that I got to think about Riverdale, and that's hard, you know, because I know all the things. Look, Coach A-Lot knows what we want to do. We know what they want to do. It's a matter of getting our kids to understand how to stop and defend those things and to execute. And it's a lot easier to say that than to do it. So it makes it. I'd rather just be a little bit faster getting through the week. But we're on our 7th or 8th day of preparation for Riverdale, and quite frankly, I'm ready to play and get it over with. So I'm excited about it. It'll be a great game. Be a good atmosphere. There's a lot on the line. Both of us being 6-3. Playoff seedings, and I don't know if you want to talk about that or not. But
I do. That's the next question. I'll just let you roll on.
But that's kind of the next part of it. But it's you know, like I said, most importantly for me, and I'm sure Coach A-Lot would say the same thing. Riverdale, Oakland. You don't want to lose to Riverdale. So that's the #1 goal for us right now. And then you know, #2 is hopefully playing a solid football game, because if we don't play solid against Riverdale, we won't have a chance to win. We gotta play fairly mistake-free and limit as many penalties and turnovers as possible. And you know, we got to win a line of scrimmage. And I think that's the same thing about the Blackman game for us, and it's got to be the same for this one. If we don't win the line of scrimmage, we're not going to stand a chance. So, but at this point, week 10. I don't think you could ask for anything else. I think it's, I mean, you know.
But it's good weather.
It's going to be great weather, and you know, it's going to be a great game. I think it's the best game in town. I know I'm biased, but I think it's the best game in town this week.
It is.
And, you know, it's like I was telling our kids the other day, there's a lot of fans in this town that follow Siegel, Blackman, Oakland, Riverdale, Smyrna, Laverne. But there's a lot of people that are just common sports fans that don't really know about these programs in detail. But most everybody in Murfreesboro that has a pulse, that likes sports, will either listen on the radio, be here, or Saturday morning get up and see what the Battle of the Borough score is, because it's different. I don't care what anybody says, the game is different. It's you know, tradition-rich game, 30-plus years, and you know, that's what makes being in Oakland or Riverdale fun. So I'm excited.
Well, with that, I did want to bring up one thing, and that is how important is it? You know, we can go through all that, but and you need the W, and it's a regular game, because really throw out some of that other stuff. But gosh, Coach, I mean, it's really a pendulum game as far as, according to Tom Krager, where you could possibly go after Friday night at 10 o'clock. You know, I mean, of course, a lot of other things got to shift around, but
you're talking about the playoff professor.
Yes,
Krager, the playoff professor. Somehow his magical numbers, he works everything out. You know, I don't know. I've talked to Tom about it some. I get, you know, again, get so sick of the playoff scenarios, because I just wish it was more clear cut.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that have to happen this Friday night. Again, number one for us, we want to beat Riverdale. I know one of the scenarios if we don't beat Riverdale is that we could go to Siegel. I don't think about that too much. I want to think about beating Riverdale. But the seeding is important. The way it looks right now, we could finish anywhere from 3rd to 5th. I don't know, and that means we might could go on the road or host. It doesn't matter. To me, it is absurd in our league with the amount of talent we have in this district that the second place team's not hosting a playoff game. I think that's absurd. And I think it also speaks to the fact that, with the way our playoff system, as flawed as it is, and it's not really going to change much, I don't think, but as flawed as it is, it's making it harder and harder for people in our county and coaches in general to schedule games. Because let's be honest, when it comes to scheduling, you're really not rewarded that much for scheduling.
You're working on scheduling right now.
I mean, trying to, but you're not rewarded for scheduling great opponents. Your number one reward is winning, and so therefore you got to try to schedule wins. And nobody's going to schedule Siegel. There's nobody that's going to schedule Riverdale ever. I don't care what happens with Riverdale. Nobody's going to ever schedule Riverdale.
But you would like to play against a team, let's say, that's across town, and know that the loss is not going to go against me, but I get to get my team a little bit better.
Exactly, but you don't
get that chance.
You don't have that chance now. And then we're in that boat now where nobody. I really thought we had at least 3 games pretty solidified for next year, and come to find out, right now, I don't think any of them are solidified.
They're not wanting to play.
Not sure, not right this second. And then, somebody goes, well, y'all going to be good next year. Well, I don't know that. Why does everybody else know that? So we have a lot of people coming back, but we have a long way to go. But all that being said, when you have a scenario with the Tito display now where a team, and I'm just telling you, I know this for a fact, there are teams that are out there that are getting with smaller schools that don't have much financial income, and they are giving them money to play games so that they can basically buy wins. That is a flawed system. Okay?
Right.
There's nothing about that that's pure. And I'm not even.
But you have to find the game.
I'm not talking about the private schools here.
Right.
I'm talking about the regular old high schools in these bigger cities that make enough money to where they can pay smaller schools to come play, knowing that that's going to get them a W. Well, that's not the way this thing's supposed to be set up. It's supposed to be about the best teams. Yeah. And so for me, it just makes it difficult.
So the TSSAA, what you're saying is, it's now set up to where some people use that as an avenue. Only, just like you said, I got to play somebody, and it's going to cost me $4,000 to go to Mississippi or to go to Georgia, to go somewhere else and play or whatever. So why not just keep it local? I'll give it to somebody. They come down, they get half the gate or whatever the contract may be, or guaranteed 4,000, 5,000, 6,000.
I know that when people hear that, they think, well, he's talking about private schools. I'm not talking about private schools at all. That's a different scenario. It's a whole different ball of wax. But I know that there are public schools that are taking portions of their money and they're paying other schools to come play knowing that it's going to be a W. And these little schools will take the money, some of them because
they don't have anything.
They don't have anything. And I don't blame them one bit. But I don't blame anybody, but the system is too flawed. And again, all that rant started with me because I don't care if it's Riverdale, Blackman, or Oakland. Whoever finishes second in our district ought to be hosting a playoff game.
Period.
Yes. And it's unfortunate. And the other thing about the way it is right now that I don't like is that, it's not really changed any for us in the standpoint that we're going to end up playing right back through our league. And I don't think that's...
You'd rather them all draw, and it doesn't matter where you go. And
let's
you have
just
to
go.
If you play Dobbins Bennett, and it's in the.
If you want to seed them, let's seed them and go.
Like the Sweet 16 in Kentucky, they put them in a jar, and you draw them out, and wherever you go, that's where you go.
That makes a lot more sense to me. Because again, in all the scenarios I'm looking at, whoever it is, Blackman, Riverdale, Oakland, whoever. It's
almost like NASCAR. We've messed with it so much, it's so messed up you can't fix it.
You're going to end up playing each other second, third round, and I think again. Look at historically, people say, well, how come the last couple of years Rutherford County hadn't been to get over the hump? We're beating each other up. What happened to, Woody last year? By the time they got to Maryville, he was gone, and I'm sure Coach Adloff would tell you the same thing. They never beat up. They had a tough road to get to Maryville, and you should have to be playing the teams you play, all year just to get back through the playoffs. I just don't think it's the right way.
You would like for it to be, you drew Marable, so you drew them out of the first bucket, go play Marable. If you draw Siegel, if you draw Dobbins Bennett, or if you draw Riverdale, the draw's the draw.
But, and again, you know, one of those scenarios has one of our teams possibly playing Siegel in the first round. Well, obviously we don't like that, but neither does Siegel. I'm sure Greg don't want to have to turn around, play somebody that knows him very well. First
got a lot of
round
film on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's flawed, you know, it just is what it is. But anyway, all that being said, I'm excited about Friday. It's gonna be a great challenge for us. Riverdale has had some up and downs this year, just like we have. But you know, they're scary because they got a great operator at quarterback. They got a couple really solid football players at every position. I don't really see. I know they had injuries. I don't see a weakness anywhere that I can tell. So we'll have to bring our A game if we're gonna stand a chance Friday night. I hope we do, because it's week 10. We need to be ready to start playing the playoffs. Hopefully we can put it together.
Okay. Coach, I just want to say thanks. This will be our last show. I appreciate you gathering with me for the time that we had each and every week, and I just appreciate you, and I've enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, man. Thanks for what you do for all these young men.
All righty. Well, let's wrap it up. Everybody follow up, and let's be here Friday night. I'll get it right. Let's be here Friday night, 7 o'clock. For the Battle of the Borough, Oakland Patriots will host the Riverdale Warriors. Y'all get out here early.